And you could tell these people were sort of searching, like it was somebody who's probably lived in Brooklyn for 25 years, moving out to the country in search of, and they even would say it baldly sometimes, like authenticity, right? Like,
absolutely.
This is how you're really supposed to live. And I think a large urge from that is because a lot of the people I feel like interlopers in the city. Maybe they moved to a big city to become like somebody who works at a cafe and does art, like whatever. Maybe they moved there like 25 years ago, but they never truly felt like at home. Like I'm not really from BK or whatever. And it's this search, like now it's like it's this ruralization program for the aging hipster. And it's interesting because I feel like it does play into this, like this decades long that I've witnessed obsession with authenticity that people have. And being in San Francisco, I've seen it so much firsthand because San Francisco has like a very, gold rush and then kind of like, the fire and then like the rebuilding in the 20s, all this stuff, or like until like the 20s and like San Francisco's history with the hippies and the beatniks and all. And then.
And a shit ton of money too.
Exactly. And then like to see all of that, much like Gay Paris, demolished and then sort of rebuilt with references maybe to the past, but with this new sort of veneer of authenticity that actually like is supposed to attract people that despise what actually made San Francisco sort of the subjective, authentic San Francisco and the objective, authentic San Francisco. And it was just like, I mean, I just remember, within my life, feeling so at home somewhere, and then one day being like, I don't feel like I don't belong here. I felt more alienated than I've almost ever felt in my life just walking down the street. I didn't recognize a fucking thing. Yeah. And streets that I've walked on since I was a child.
And there's a specific kind of alienation that you can only get from like a place that looks or used to be home and now isn't. Like that hits
it's
way
uncanny.
Deeper. Yeah, it's uncanny. That's
I'm
literally
real.
exact
It drove
right.
me a little insane.
It's the exact right word. Yeah. But to get back to the point about like digital networks urbanizing, right? Is that in Ulster County, I spoke to this real estate agent that built an app. It's called Upstate Curious. You can look it up.
Upstate Curious?
That's the name of the app.
It's in your book.
Yeah, it's in the book. Yeah.
Why not Up Curious? That doesn't sound right.
Liz, I think maybe workshop that
we'll
one.
work on it.
Bit, yeah.
But the idea is basically to provide that word of mouth kind of like, oh, I'm walking down Broadway and I found a cool new adorable little tapas bar. Yeah. And so you can't do that serendipity on country roads, right?
Yeah.
Unless like you just drive around aimlessly like
also,
a David
not
Lynch
a
character
ton
or
of
something.
businesses just randomly on country roads.
Right, yeah. You really have to go look for it. And also because like there's this just another one of these brainworms in authenticity where it's like it should be a little hard to get to, and it's it's like a speakeasy, but you're not ever gonna get arrested. And so they make this app to try to like find all the cool shit in Ulster County. Right, that's the whole point of this app.
Like a Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
But it
was also like a next door-ish,
of course,
app kind of thing.
But it becomes like it becomes like a curated list of the authentic Ulster County experience.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is actually it's not the objective authentic, right?
Of course,
it's the existential authentic, right? It's like I finally ate a pizza in the woods, right? Like this is the existential experience of living the gentleman farmer. Yeah, just like John Adams, right?
Yeah, totally.
He would leave Philadelphia and then eat a pizza in the woods.
I mean, to I guess do like the relate this to California thing, and again, like listeners. I'm sorry. I've lived my entire life in major urban areas. So if you don't relate to this, then I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have gone to Pratt.
This is actually the first time in my life I've lived in not a major urban area.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, Liz lives on a barge. No, but I mean, so like, I apologize. Like I have, I don't apologize, but like I have lived in San Francisco almost my entire life. And so it's like, the experience I can relate are mostly related to that. But like, a big thing that I noticed when I was younger, it was like I would see people like kind of have this freak out in the city, and then they move to the desert and then sort of like inhabit this like character of like I'm like a desert, like 60s burnout kind of person.
Yeah.
Like the chicks would all get like kind of fringe jackets and witchy hats.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
it sort of presaged the I always want to call it the Ouija board movement, but like the tarot kind of person.
When I lived in LA, a lot of expats to Joshua Tree.
Exactly.
Opening up, I'm going to open up a vintage store. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah. But no, they will. They will. They will.
They'll get around to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be in an Airstream trailer.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like sell things
Totally.
Etsy.
And then they actually live in Joshua Tree, and they're like, damn, it's kind of freaky over here.
Man, like, yeah.
Man, these mountain folk do a lot of meth.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? We city folk do too. But like, it was, I couldn't figure out why it bugged me so much when I was younger. And I realized it was that like, these people were trying to create this new authenticity, and oftentimes interlopers, like in these areas, we're trying to kind of create this new authenticity. And I feel like now with some, like, you know, I sound very judgmental, but now I really do recognize that like people are searching for a sense of self and for a sense of like true, like real concrete identity and feeling like a human being and like a person. And I feel like the thing is like, maybe you will, but I don't think you're going to find that by opening up a vintage store in Idlewild. Like that is something that like might actually just be robbed from you by the way that society like is structured right now. And by the technologies that like, you know, sort of govern many of our, not govern, but like, strongly determine many of our, like, you know, your social relations and your emotional romantic relations with people. And it's like, I get that like need, that like desperate search for authenticity that so many people have. But it's interesting that so much of it like falls to people kind of like seeking out the rural life. I don't care. I don't care really what anybody does. But it's what I found fascinating about your book is, well, that's literally not true. I'm actually straight up lying. We've
got hater number one, hater number two.
I am. The only television I've ever related to was the Dave Chappelle thing where those guys were mean to people back in time. And I was like, I would love to have a time machine so I could be cruel to others, perhaps in the 17th, 16th, 15th, even 14th centuries. But it's what I found interesting about your book too is that like these cities, these smaller cities, like it is like they have to come up with these like sort of new creative ways to like advertise themselves as like, hey, we're just like the big city. You know what I mean? But smaller and more homey. And like it really actually robs the place of like true authenticity. And it kind of creates this like facsimile of like, you know, New York, Troy becomes like a little New York city.
Well, we were called the New Brooklyn for a very long time.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone tried to make that stick.
They should make an app that has a list of all the towns that have ever been called the New Brooklyn.
Yes, and then wipe them all off the map.
Tel Aviv.
Right.
Jerusalem.
But you're right, Brett. It's like it is. I have like serious empathy for people. They're like, I don't. Something feels wrong, right? And like this world doesn't feel right, and maybe it's where I am, or like what I'm doing for money, and or like, you know, what kind of clothes I'm wearing, what sort of affectation I give, right? And it goes beyond sort of like the high school clique, like, am I a goth or am I kind of thing, right? It goes into this like, what should I what's the purpose of living, right? It's just the very most fundamental questions. And unfortunately, it usually gets worked out because so much of our lives are like mediated by commodified bullshit, right? That these really serious, earnest questions come out in the goofiest, most like unrespectable ways possible, right?
Undignified.
Just like, or it's just like, I'm gonna pretend to be a lumberjack. It's just like that's not.
That was a really interesting moment.
Yeah. Whereas, and it's almost like that Twitter joke, right? That like men will literally become a lumberjack instead of going to therapy.
Well, the
right?
thing is, but the funny thing is, they won't literally become a lumberjack. No,
that's like, correct.
Yeah.
They won't ever take down a tree.
No, but everyone will for some reason wear buffalo check shirts for 20 years.
And you see this fucking me right here. You know, I'm literally I know this is a podcast, you can't see me. I'm wearing nothing but an adult diaper. And I've clear cut probably thousands of acres of forest a year.
You pull it off really well.
And I get no credit for being like an authentic, rural guy.